Hey developers, so I found a pretty cool Python 3 project. This is from Codecademy's website in the Learn Python 3 area. So the project name is Gradebook. And what we're doing is we're going to be using lists, parsing through the lists to create different lists. It's pretty fun. So it says here, you are a student and you're trying to organize your subjects and grades using Python. Let's explore what we've learned about lists to organize your subjects and scores. All right, so it looks like we already have a list, a two-dimensional list. So class name, score, class name, score, class name, score. All right, let's check it out. First problem, create a list called subjects and fill it with the classes you are taking. All right, so variable subjects equals, as you guys know, you have these brackets, that'll make it a list. So since they're strings, physics, calculus, poetry, and history. All right, this looks okay. 4 items, 4 items. All right, create a list called grades and fill it with your scores. All right, so grades, 98, 97, 85, 88. Perfect, so 4 items, 4 items. Manually, without any methods, create a two-dimensional list to combine subjects and grades. Use the table below as a reference to associated values. All right. So class name, score, class name, score, class name, score, class name, score. That looks exactly like this two-dimensional list here. And assign the value into the variable called Gradebook. All right, if we want to do it exactly like they're asking, Gradebook equals, let's create a two-dimensional array. So that'll be physics. And then, what is that, 98? And then another item, which would be calculus, and that's 97. Now, I see what they're doing, but if we already have the data here, why would we manually create another list? So let's not do that. Instead, let's use a for loop to iterate over these indexes and create the list for us. So for I in range len subjects. Now, this is going to go over I. So I is going to be 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. So to store this, the items, the temporary items before we append it to the gradebook list, we need to create a temporary variable. So temp var equals an empty list. So the reason we're doing an empty list is because within this main list, if we're going to copy this structure, there are these lists with only 2 items. So we're going to emulate that. So then temp var.append. First, we need the subjects. So subjects I, and then temp var.append grades I. So with that, let me show you. So we'll do print temp var. So it created each of these individual items here. So now we can add these individual items to this list. So let's do gradebook.append and then temp var. So then that'll put each one of these into this list and it will look like this. So then print gradebook. All right, so let's print the gradebook just to make sure. Print gradebook. All right, see, we did the exact same thing here. We already have the data, so we can just manipulate the data to work in our favor. And if this was a much longer list, if these were much longer, this would be the easier and quicker way to do it. All right. Add more subjects. Sweet. So Your grade for your computer science class just came in. You got a perfect score of 100. Use the append method to add a list with values of computer science and the associated grade value of 100 to our two-dimensional list of Gradebook. All right, that sounds pretty simple. So to append, we just do this, like we did before. Gradebook.append, create the item. So first, computer science, and then our score of 100. Now, if we save it, it's going to run, and we should have computer science on here. Perfect. Your grade for visual arts just came in. You got a 93. Use the append to add visual arts, 93 to the gradebook. All right. And once we save this, it should work. Perfect. That is our last index. Modify the gradebook. Our instructor just told us they made a mistake grading and are rewarding an extra 5 points to our visual arts class. Access the index of the grade for your visual arts class and modify it to be 5 points greater. Perfect. So we can do this multiple ways. We can do gradebook 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is 0, 1 plus equal 5. That works. Let's clear that out. All right, back to 93. We could also do gradebook -1. That is the last one. And then we can also use -1 again, because that is the last index in this list, plus equal 5. Perfect. Or we can search the entire list for this string and then add 5 to that. So let's say this list was longer again. We could use the for loop, search everything for this because we don't know the index, and then add 5 to the score. All right, clear that. There's 93 again. So since we used I in this for loop, let's use J. Range length gradebook if gradebook J 0 equals visual arts. All right, let me explain this. So what we're doing is we're searching gradebook with index J. So index J is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we want this index. So once it finds said index, we want to make sure that 0 index of the list that it found is equal to visual arts, which would be right here. So once it finds that, we want to add 5 points to it. So gradebook J 1, 0, 1 plus equals 5. And now I should search the entire list for this string here, and then add 5 to this index. Perfect. You decide to switch from a numerical grade value to a pass-fail option in your poetry class. Find the grade value in your gradebook for your poetry class and use the .remove method to delete it. All right. So again, this one we can do it multiple ways like we were saying. So we're looking for the poetry class. So 0, 1, 2, we can do gradebook 2 .remove 85. That should work. It's gone now. All right, it's back. We could do gradebook -1, -2, -3, -4. dot remove gradebook -4 -1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then -1 is the last one, last item in that list. It's gone. Or if we do not know the index, we can do another loop. Put 4K in range length gradebook if gradebook K 0 is equal to poetry, gradebook K dot remove gradebook K 1. And then this should cycle the entire list. Once it finds the class poetry, it'll then remove the index. So let's take this off for a second, clear this. All right, that's back. So again, look at right here, 85 is going to be gone after it searches the list. 85 is gone. And then right here, use the append method to then add a new pass value to the sublist where your poetry class is located. All right, this is perfect because we already have the list here. So once it found poetry, it removed this item. So now we can just add gradebook K dot append pass. So now right here, we're going to have pass. It's going to add this string to this list. Perfect. And then the final problem is you also have your grades from last semester stored in last semester gradebook, which is this two-dimensional list right here. Create a new variable, full gradebook, that combines both last semester gradebook and gradebook using this to have one complete gradebook. Print full gradebook to see our completed list. All right, let's get rid of this print statement. So full gradebook equals last semester gradebook plus gradebook. So it's going to do this list first plus the list that we've been messing with here. And then let's print full gradebook. So this is going to go away. We're going to see this list first and then the list right here. So as you see, what this did was it first added all of these list items and then all the list items that we were using in Gradebook. So that is my twist on Gradebook using for loops.